Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Old Trafford was the stage when United and Arsenal faced off in a game that saw United run off as 3-1 winners, thanks to Antony and a Rashford double, while Saka scored for Arsenal. The XG indicated that the chance quality was roughly similar, but United were more clinical. But let's dig into the tactics from Ten Hag and Arteta. And since you're a fan of the tactical side of the game, why not try your hand at being a manager with today's video sponsor Spitch. Spitch is my fantasy football app of choice, as you can play for free but still win real money. Simply pick your 11 players for the team and pick a pitch to play on, and unlike other fantasy football apps who only care about goals and assists, Spitch also rewards stuff like passes, tackles and much more. And Spitch gives out prizes weekly, so you can join in at any time. And with the brand new season mode, you can stand the chance to win a share of £50,000. So this is my team for the week, and you can join in the fun on Spitch for free by downloading it through the link in the description below. We'll begin by looking at United in possession and Arsenal when defending. Ten Hag had different ways that he would look to build up. The backline could turn into a back three, either with Dalot operating as the right centre back and Malacia pushing higher up, or vice versa. Whilst at the same time, Arsenal were happy to press either with one man in Jesus or a second man, either Martinelli joining in, or more often Odegaard creating a front two, so Arsenal's defensive shape high up could look like a 4-4-2. This front two is part of the reason that United did build up with a back three, so that they would always have the man advantage. But Arsenal's 4-4-2 high up did have some definite weaknesses. If Jesus and Odegaard were not well coordinated in their pressing structure, the third centre back on the outside could have plenty of time and space to then move higher up the pitch. This would create a bit of an overload out wide, as if the winger then came towards Varane, Dalot could receive. Alternatively, if the winger remained deep, this would create opportunity for further progression higher up, with the centre back then looking to open up new passing angles to the forwards. So here we see that it's Malacia who's the third centre back, allowing United to begin with a back three. Martinelli and Jesus have rotated, so Martinelli is looking to press alone initially, whilst Odegaard, depending on the situation, could join in this press or look to cover the pivot. But Martinelli's pressing did not cut out the lateral pass towards Varane, and as a result, he is able to receive the ball in a bit of space and push higher up towards the wing. So Jesus is caught in two minds on whether to close down Varane or cover the fullback. This allows Dalot the momentary space to receive. And now Zinchenko had moved out to press the fullback as Jesus was unsure. So this now creates the scope for Antony to make the run in behind the higher fullback so that he can receive the pass from Dalot. Now he has a 1 versus 1 in a good region against Jesus, and eventually Antony does play the ball back for the cross. And it leads to Eriksen having a decent opportunity that does go just wide. And in deeper regions, would often see this double pivot of United's switch towards more of a single pivot, usually with Eriksen, who's better on the ball than McTominay, being the man to receive deep. So, if Jesus and Odegaard's press was not well enough coordinated to cut out the pass into Eriksen, he could receive, taking two Arsenal forwards out of the game and allowing him to look for more progressive passes higher up the pitch. So in this situation, United are building with a back two, so Arsenal see the opportunity to potentially press man-to-man, as Odegaard does join in. But we can see the press between Jesus and Odegaard is not well coordinated, so there's a massive gap available to find McTominay. He is then able to receive and play in Rashford between the lines. So the shape could generally cause Arsenal problems defensively, as it could mean that a deeper pivot would have to come out of position looking to close down the single pivot. But if they opted to sit off instead, it would be the United man who would then have time and space on the ball. And once again, Eriksen, being much better on the ball, took every opportunity to drop deeper to get on the ball and look to make progressive passes, which led to several dangerous situations. And one thing that United did do well at times was get men between the lines. Fernandes in particular had a lot of freedom, so usually where we see him dropping deep and looking to get on the ball to make the difference himself, in this match he was much more patient, as with better passers deep such as Eriksen and Martinez, he could put faith in them to look to find him higher up. So we often saw them looking to find Fernandes for the one-time pass into Rashford, Sancho or Antony making the run in behind. So here we see that Jesus and Odegaard are once again the front two for Arsenal, and initially Odegaard is looking to cover the deepest pivot, in this case McTominay. But Lisandro Martinez has excellent passing, so with a bit of time and space, he's able to look for a man higher up the pitch. Lokonga is looking to pick up Eriksen, who's slightly deeper, whilst Xhaka is protecting the central regions, opening up this gap here. And Fernandes, as he was doing throughout this match, drifted between the lines and was able to receive and look for a first-time pass into men higher up. All of this even plays a part in the goal. Jesus and Odegaard are pressing, leaving them slightly light in the midfield. As we often saw, Eriksen and McTominay have rotated so that Eriksen could be the deep progressor. And Arsenal were cautious of letting Eriksen have too much space, so Lokonga has now been drawn out of position looking to press him, whilst Xhaka is still on McTominay, meaning that Fernandes is the free man higher up. And again, Eriksen has excellent passing and can find this gap here. So now Fernandes is between the lines and able to find a teammate. And this subsequently leads to Rashford playing in Antony for the finish. But at times, particularly if Arsenal were pressing with one man up front, we did see United look to build with a more traditional back two. This could be problematic, as first of all, if Arsenal were pressing with the two, it meant man-to-man situations which could cause pressure. But more importantly, it left United vulnerable in the transition. So if they did lose the ball, both Martinelli and Saka are excellent 1-versus-1 wingers with good pace, so they could be found with first-time plays in behind the fullback area. And this actually led to Arsenal's disallowed goal. So in this situation, Dalot and Malacia are playing as more traditional fullbacks, meaning that United only have two centre-backs who Arsenal can press man-to-man. Although we do see that Eriksen, as discussed, was dropping to be the deepest pivot. So eventually the ball does come to Eriksen, and in this case, Odegaard defends well from the front, coming back into position, and wins the ball, although it is a foul. But at the same time, you can see as soon as it occurs, Martinelli is on the move, looking to make the run into the massive space caused by the fullback being much higher up. And he does have the 1-versus-1 advantage in pace versus Dalot. And from this position, he's able to produce an excellent finish. And higher up, United did have some interesting patterns. Where deeper on the pitch, Eriksen would almost always operate deeper than McTominay. Higher up, Eriksen had a bit more scope to move higher up the pitch, and he did have a tendency to move towards the left-hand side. Arsenal, on the other hand, would defend in a fairly disciplined 4-5-1, looking to compact the space between the lines. And with Eriksen wide on the left, United did generally look to implement a left-hand side overload to drag the Gunners across the pitch. But interestingly, for the most part throughout the match, rather than one of Antony or Dalot staying wide in order to stretch the back four, both tended to come infield. Dalot in the half space, looking to receive the pass to then move it forward, whilst Antony was much more comfortable tucking in. So as a result, they didn't quite make the most of this opportunity to create 1-versus-1s out wide and create gaps in the backline. This was a situation United found themselves in often, with a bit of a left-hand side overload, which would initially drag Arsenal across. As you can see, Dalot is operating much more narrow, but Dalot and Antony are taking up similar vertical lanes on the pitch, so the opportunity for a switch to a man who's way out wide is not on. So, that was what United did in possession, but in the next video we'll be touching on what Arteta did. But regards of the managerial tactical score, it was an intriguing contest, with both showing strengths and weaknesses, but Ten Hag edges it out 7-6. But what are your ratings for these two? Drop them down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you might enjoy the content available on my Patreon. Not only does Patreon help to support the continued production of content, as I am a one-man team, but it also gives you early access to videos that will come on the channel. You'll also get exclusive videos, get to vote on polls, and so much more. And it's cheaper than ever, no longer having a tier system, so everyone on the Patreon gets access to all the content. So head over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple to check it out. And a special thanks to my patrons, including Per Sandstorm, Moez Bendabi, Robert O'Brien, and Ed Salem.